All right, hello everyone. It's Monday morning. Right now it's 11:53, Monday on February the 12th. This morning has been wet, to say the least. It's been raining for the past maybe upwards of eight hours or so from last night, Sunday evening, into all of this morning. There was just rain on my window all night long. Continually hear it. Right now, we still have some heavy downpours that are around. We have no lightning out there, so some good news with that, but we've had significant flooding in spots this morning. We do have two flood warnings that are out for some of the rivers. The Oconee and the Flint River right now are at a flood warning. We did have that flash flood warning for portions of Bibb and Houston County. That has since been allowed to expire, but still watching a lot of this heavy rain. It's still just coming down. It's almost back building a little bit towards the Georgia-Alabama border. It just kind of builds up. But hello, everyone. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, come say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from, how your day has been. I'd love to see how your day is going, but it's been really significant. Right now in Macon, we are inching on about we're inching close to about 4 inches of rain. It's about the wettest 2 days that we've had since April of 2022. So this is a pretty significant flooding and high rain event that we're watching. Like the last time we had nearing around 4 inches in just 2 days, we had Sunday and today, that was April of 2022. So it's almost been 2 years since we have this much rain fall in this short amount of time. So these are the rainfall totals as of 11 o'clock. This will update again at noon. And this is just since midnight. So this doesn't include yesterday's. Byron has had the most, nearing 3 inches of rain just from midnight. Tennille, 2 3/4. Macon's at 2.5 inches. Let me pull up also the one that was from Sunday. The way that this graphic works is that it gets reset at midnight, but I also have yesterday's that we saved just for when times are like this and you have to look back at both days, the rainfall through the overnight hours. It kind of just resets. So this is yesterday's. So this is Sunday's until midnight. So Macon yesterday got 1.5 inches on top of the almost 3 inches now. Fort Valley, 2.5 inches. So right now, as we're approaching noon, we're getting close to 4 inches of rain. We did need the rain, as this winter we're below average, but we just don't need it all at the same time. There's been significant flooding on the highways. I-16 was shut down for several hours on the westbound lane. It has cleared out now. I-75 had some flooding. So it's been a really slow morning with all of these heavy downpours, and I'm still not expecting the rain to stop for several hours still. It looks like it wants to stop raining, but it just keeps back building. Let me try to turn off some of these layers. Well, I can do this. So there's not a lot of lightning out there, which is really some great news. But it's still pouring everywhere. It's still raining, at least everywhere across middle Georgia. There's just been so much rain so far. If I still play this over the past 2 hours, this is a little fast, but notice like it just keeps back building. It doesn't stop raining out towards the west, towards Columbus. There's just so much moisture that this is pulling up off of, and it's running into an upper level jet, which is helping to increase the lift, and that just is not slowing down. It's not enough to create a lot of severe weather. We haven't seen a lot of severe weather today, which is nice and good news, but this is definitely a big flooding event, as the rain just won't stop. It's still back building across the Georgia-Alabama border. There has been a tornado watch that was for portions of South Georgia. We're not really in that quite yet. I've also seen some people on Facebook say the power has been off and on. Right now, we don't have a ton of power outages since we're not having the high winds that's knocking down a lot of power lines, but it's just the rain and the inundation of the rain over and over, which is the pretty large issue. So far, and the really big impact with this, if you live in a flood-prone area, you're likely seeing some water beginning to pond. And you remember, you never want to drive through any flooding roads. So if you find yourself, even after this rain has moved out over the next few hours, flooding likely still will be an impact for the rest of today, tomorrow, and probably on Wednesday also. So over the next several days, if you see any flooded roadways, please do not drive through them. It's very easy to hydroplane, lose the contact with the ground and your car. It's very easy for it to all just be coming down so quickly. So please be careful if you're out driving over the next several days, really. And if you live near the Flint River, let me go change this really fast. If you live near the Flint River or the Oconee River right now, those are in the moderate flood stage. Most of the rivers have jumped significantly over the past several hours. They've been jumping from about, oh wait, I think I pressed the wrong button. Most of the rivers have really jumped up very high. I know the Ogmulgee River, here at the site in Macon, we have different river level sites so that you can know just how high the river levels are. It went from, I think, about 10 feet about 12 hours ago to 18 feet today. So in less than 12 hours, the river jumped almost 8 feet. That's substantial in how much rain that has fallen. Hi, Ron. How are you? Thanks for watching. And hi, Celeste. 2 inches in Dexter, GA. Thanks for tuning in. If y'all are watching on Facebook or anywhere, feel free to say hello. This is out over Dublin. I need to change the camera. So here's downtown. You can still see the rain is falling. Lots of gray skies. It's mild. It's 58 degrees, but that wind out of the southeast, bringing up that warm, moist air. It is just training, back building. Definitely some flooding that's happening today. So that's really going to be the key impact here is the flooding impacts on the roads, especially if you live near a river. The river levels are just very, they're really jumping up very quickly. And we still do have a flood watch that has been posted for most of our viewing area. Remember the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch is when the conditions are favorable for flooding to occur. So anywhere it's shaded here, through this evening still, as the heavy rains continues to fall, the conditions are favorable for there to be flooding. So that's ponding on the roads, that's low-lying areas, poor drainage spots. That could cause some issues as we're still nearing 4, potentially upwards of 5 inches of rain here from Sunday night and into today. Especially if you're driving on the highways, just really be careful because it's very easy to hydroplane when just so much of this water is on the ground. So here's satellite radar, a wider view of really what's going on. There's the tornado watch that's still in portions of South Georgia and Florida along the Panhandle. But notice this conveyor belt of moisture, it's not stopping. It just continues to rain and it's back building still along the Georgia borderline near Columbus. It's not stopping. So it's gonna take its time to wane itself out. Here's the parent low. You can see the actual spin over here. That's the actual parent low, and it's pulling up this warm, moist air off the Gulf of Mexico. A warm front has lifted through. Actually, once the cold front gets here, it's way back here. Once the cold front pushes through, that'll sweep out the moisture, but it's really gonna take its time in doing so. It's gonna take several hours for that to actually be getting here. It should begin to taper off the farther into the evening. As we get ready for the 5 and 6 o'clock newscast, I think we still will have some downpours around. I don't think it'll be quite this quiet, but I think there'll still be some rain beginning to exit as we get towards 5 and 6 o'clock. But really tomorrow, it'll be definitely cleared out. By tonight, I'd say 8, 9 o'clock, it's probably done raining at that point. But even after it's finished raining, there still will likely be some water ponding on the roads. And then waking up tomorrow, we'll have lots of clouds probably. But through the day, tomorrow afternoon, we'll see the sunshine return as temperatures do begin to drop. Here's 10 o'clock tomorrow. The clouds are out of here. The sunshine will be back. It'll be a pretty nice afternoon. And then Wednesday, we'll be clearing up. Okay, so wait, it's 12 o'clock. I want to show you the rainfall totals and how they updated. Because it updates every hour at about 12 o'clock. So Byron is now over 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches. Macon's nearing 3 inches, plus the 1.5 inches that we got yesterday, which now puts us at about 4.5 inches of rain from the past 2 days. the wettest 2 days we've had since April of 2022. So it's almost been 2 years since we've had this much rain in 2 days. Warner Robins, since midnight, has had about 2 1/10 inches of rain. Milledgeville, 1.82. But Byron, really Peach County has been hit pretty hard. Fort Valley, Byron, both above 3 inches of rain. And yesterday also, Fort Valley had the most through midnight last night. Fort Valley, almost about 2.5 inches. So you're nearing 5.5 inches of rain. Byron is also in the top 3 from yesterday and today. So Peach County has really been in the bulk of the heavy downpours. Luckily, there's not a lot of high wind. Let me see if I can pull up our wind data. Here's some of the wind data that we have. So winds have been gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. I mean, that's pretty blustery, but it may not be a lot to cause a lot of widespread power outage issues, and not seeing a lot of power outages through the afternoon now, but Unadilla has been up to 27 miles per hour. Byron's 20, so, you know, still in Peach County, you're having the high winds. It's not too bad of the high gusts, but it's definitely windy. And you have those pretty significant downpours that are still going on. So let's go back out to the rain now. Hi, Brandon. 5 inches in Culloden already. I believe it. I believe it. Hey, Mark. Thanks for watching. So we don't have any warnings over us. We do have warnings for the Oconee River and the Flint River because they are in the moderate flood stage, or they will be in the moderate flood stage for the next several days. But where you see the heavier reds and the oranges, that's the heavier downpours. Not a lot of lightning out there, so that's great. Most areas are getting some sort of moderate to heavy downpours, a few areas of green towards Thomaston, so that's an indication that the rain is lighter in intensity, but especially right now over Milledgeville, southern Jones County, Lake Sinclair. Lake Sinclair will probably have some of its dams open because the Oconee is beginning to flood. The Milledgeville, kind of this heavy swath of downpours just southeast of Gray. Kind of if you're driving from Macon to Milledgeville along 49, definitely in the heavy downpours right now. Haddock, Coopers have sort of that heavier downpour. A little bit farther south, northern Dodge County, Bleckley County, Chester. See the heavier reds still in here. I don't think there's any hail with these either. If there was some hail inside these storms, there's zero instability outside right now. Instability is kind of almost the hot air balloon effect, how warm air wants to rise. You usually want the sun to be shining if you want higher instability, but that would mean that we see more severe weather. Since there's lots of clouds out there, it's been raining for the past 8 hours or so. There's virtually zero instability for these storms to be lifting up higher and to create any hail or bring down those strong updrafts with the damaging winds. So it's just more of a rain and flooding event really at this point, since it's been raining for hours. It has been raining for hours down towards Pulaski County and Wilcox County, Hawkinsville, Abbeville, New Rochelle. There's more greens, so still getting some light rain, but still coming down out there. Macon, Warner Robins, still getting kind of the yellows, the oranges, so still getting a pretty good downpour, nothing too intense. Especially when you see those reds and the greens like up towards Milledgeville. Let's see what the radar could be indicating that rain could be falling at per hour. The radar is indicating this to be falling about 4 inches of rain per hour. That's that blinding rain. If you're driving, maybe getting on your lunch break somewhere, be careful on the roads because there's likely some of that ponding out there. Also, if you find yourself wanting to pull over, just pull over and you're on the highway, try to pull over on an exit ramp. Not really a safe or smart option to pull off on the side of the highway. So let kind of the rain run out and at least lower itself a little bit. Try to get on an exit ramp so people that are trying to drive by, you never want to park under an overpass on the highway. That is never a smart option. It's very hard for people to see, especially when you have the 4 inches of rain an hour that's falling and you can't see very far in front of you. So just be careful with driving today. That the localized flooding is still going to be an issue for the next several hours, even after the rain has stopped. around 5, 6 o'clock tonight, most likely. We still will have some pockets of just ponding on the roads that really could cause a lot of hydroplaning and issues. So just be careful with that for the rest of today and tomorrow. And the rivers will continue to rise. The rivers have been jumping about 8 feet in the past 12 hours. The Ogmulgee, I think, jumped almost 8 feet, went from 10 to 18 feet in less than 12 hours. The Flint River is really overrunning its banks. I think it's going to be about 10 feet above its moderate flood stage over the next 24 hours. So if you live along the Flint River and it floods easily in your area, just watch that water in case it does need to rise. You need to move to higher ground. And the Oconee River is also still into a moderate flood stage also. Let's see if we can still see any kind of wind gusts that are out there. So the winds haven't been too bad. Without those strong updrafts, those really tall thunderstorms, these downpours aren't pulling in a lot of heavy winds in the upper atmosphere with that low-level jet. Still, the winds are pretty gusty with a normal downpour, you know, winds gusting 5 to 25 miles per hour in some spots. So the winds are still gusty out there, but really the bigger impact of this is going to be the rain and the flooding events now here for a little while. So just stay weather aware. If you don't have the WGXA Skywatch weather app, it's kept me informed, honestly, this morning. So yeah, man, not a lot of power outages. If you need the Skywatch weather app, it is such a handy tool for staying weather aware. It's really easy to stay weather aware. It's not overwhelming at all. If you're watching on your phone after the live stream's done or whatever, you can just head over to the App Store, the Google Play Store, just search up Skywatch Weather. It's free. You can download it. You put your location on there, and it tells you when you have a watch or a warning, when there's lightning near your location. It's so easy. It's so fast, too. It's really great. And then you stay in the know. It'll tell you in a notification there's been a flash flood warning issued for your location. It's just really nice to have that. If you're watching somewhere else that you're not on your phone, you can scan this QR code. You basically open up your phone, open up the camera, act like you're going to take a picture of this, and then tap on the screen where that QR code is, and it should give you a little banner at the top that'll link you to the App Store or the Google Play Store so that you can download it even after this moves out. I mean, it's great for days when you're in a pinch and you need to know the weather. You can break it down hour by hour, or when there's watches and warnings issued. You know, we're about to enter into severe weather season also. End of February, March, and into April, when we get more of the big storms that do produce those tornadoes and those damaging winds that we will be watching for. So here's the flood watch once again that I'm going to show you. So anywhere in a green, that means the conditions are favorable for there to be flooding through this evening. This flood watch is still in effect until about 7 o'clock tonight. And I mean, we do have flood warnings for portions of the Flint and Oconee rivers, for Baldwin, Washington, Wilkinson, for the Oconee River until 8:06 tonight, since the river is going to be into a moderate flood stage, and also for the Flint River for Crawford, Taylor, and Upson counties. That's where kind of the flood warning is at this current time. And so that'll be kind of the case with kind of going forward here the next several hours, as the rivers will really be peaking significantly from all the rain that we've gotten. If you're just joining us, these are the wettest 2 days in Macon's history since April of 2022. So it's almost been 2 years since we've had this much rainfall in just 2 days. We're really over 4 inches at this point. It's only 12 o'clock, and we still have more rain that's falling out there. It's going to take several hours for this system to finally move out, as it keeps back building. Notice out further to the west. Let me put this on slow. Notice as we kind of look farther west for when the rain looks like it could taper off, just more keeps building up. So it's going to have to take its time raining out. We have dew points out there in the 60s right now. and it's February. That's more typical of something like May or June when you have that much moisture in the atmosphere. And it's riding along this low-level jet, so there's extra lift for these showers to be forming. Not enough to really produce some strong or damaging winds, but just enough to keep the downpours in place. And anywhere that you still see that red, it's where the heavier downpours are falling. Does look like it is lightening up. Over the past several hours, we've kind of lost the lightning. Notice early, about an hour ago, still have this heavy swath. Looks like that's pushing out. It will eventually begin to dry out, but still notice that a lot of the showers, you kind of keep seeing it build up in the same spot. So it does look like that's slowly shifting eastward. The farther the actual cold front gets through here, that's when the moisture will finally be swept out, but it's really going to take its time. I still think it's going to be raining for most of us for the next 3 hours or so. For the next several hours. Let's go back outside. I want to show you what it looks like. Let's go out to Dublin. People are on the roads. Those roadways are slick. It looks like it's raining a little bit harder down over Dublin. 61 degrees. It's just very, it's just a dreary day. It's just been raining since 7, 8 o'clock last night. The dew point right now over Dublin is 57, and the air temperature is 61. When those two are close to each other, that's when you get the condensation, the lower visibility, the rain to really be falling. So there's a lot of moisture for these storms to be working with. And it's going to be still pretty active here over the next few hours. So pretty just crazy how much rain has fallen. So Peach County has really been hit with the worst amount of rain. Fort Valley and Byron, over 3 inches of rain from just midnight. Yesterday still had about 2.5 inches for each of these spots too. So you're at about over 5 inches of rain. Macon since midnight has got about 3 inches. Yesterday we had about 1.5 on Sunday. So you combine the 2 days here, this goes until from midnight to now. But it's just absurd of just how much rain has really fallen. The flooding issue is still going to be a thing. So if you live in a flood-prone area, watch that water in case if you need to move to higher ground, if you need to move your car. There still will be ponding on the roadways, especially if you live near the Oconee, the Flint, or the Ogmulgee rivers. Those are still overflowing their banks here until Thursday. So there's this really a multiple-day event, especially for the rivers. Those are really not going to be peaking until Wednesday and kind of staying high through Thursday, maybe even into Friday of this week. So the rivers, they're really going to be staying high for several days, which is still going to be the big impact here is that flooding threat that's going to be continuing over the next few days. So let me show you how this could be playing out. I still think by 5 o'clock, this model is really showing the rain diminishing. I think we'll still have some downpours, especially for areas east of I-75. I don't think it'll be this quiet by 5 o'clock, but there will still be some downpours around, I think by around 7, 8 o'clock. It's mostly done for everybody. I do think by 8 o'clock or so, most of the rain will be pushing out as that cold front will finally be pushing through. So I think 7, 8 o'clock, we're drying out. Tomorrow, we'll wake up with a few clouds, increasing sunshine by the afternoon. Some colder air will be filtering in. And then we're dry until we get towards next weekend. This weekend, since December 1st, it was our 8th weekend out of 11 that we've had since December 1st with rain. That's over 75% of our weekends have had some sort of wet weather. And it looks like we're going to be adding another weekend to that by Saturday and Sunday. Could be tracking the 9th weekend in a row with some showers. So tomorrow, some clouds in the morning, breaking for sun by the afternoon. Valentine's Day is looking really nice. It's cold in the mornings. We're dropping back down to the 30s Wednesday and Thursday morning. 67 on Friday. Probably the pick of the week for Thursday, still with some sunshine because Friday clouds are back in place. Showers on Saturday once again. The high drops to 55 degrees. That'll make it the 9th weekend out of 12 that'll have some sort of showers still. That's about 3/4 of our weekends have come with some sort of wet weather since December 1st. And then we're drying out towards the middle of next week. But still just an active pattern, and we've been stuck in kind of the every 7 days it's been with rain. It's kind of in that cycle that we're just on, that the atmosphere wants to be with, which is unfortunate. That we just have so much wet weather coming right in time for the weekend, unfortunately. So once again, I would really, if you don't have the Weather Warn Day or the Skywatch weather app, it is really such a handy tool. It told me I can't remember when the warning was issued. I think it was around 6 or so this morning. I had my phone next to me so that if there was any warnings issued, I would know and be able to do what I need to do. But you scan this QR code, go into the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, search for WGXA weather, and that'll give you the app, and it will tell you when there's some warnings over you. It's such an easy way to stay weather aware. It doesn't bombard you with a lot of stuff. It works for normal days also. So even on regular days, if you're just looking what the weather needs to be, it's such a great tool for that. I think the severe weather threat at this point, we have been under a level 2 for some severe storms today. I think the severe potential has really run out. We don't have a lot of instability out there anymore. Since it's been raining for so long, the storms are really not able to catch on to any sort of momentum and start rotating or bring down those strong winds from the low-level jet. There just isn't enough energy out there, like at all, for that. So, back out here on the radar, it does look like it's beginning to slow down. It does look like it is beginning to slow itself down, but it's taking its time doing so. It's taking its good old time. Still out to the west, it looks like that back building is still slowly pushing eastward, so once that pushes through, then the rain will begin to taper off. There could be, and then this is the actual cold front. You see this little band of some showers out here? Once this pushes through, that's when the rain will actually really begin to taper off. Still don't think that's until 6, 7 o'clock tonight when that's actually going to be here in our place. It's still west of Birmingham and west of I-65. So that's going to, once that pushes through, that's going to sweep out the moisture and then finally get us more drier conditions. But we're just still stuck in some of these heavier downpours. Where you see the reds, still that's the heavier downpour that was over Milledgeville and Gray. Now it's near Sparta, Devereaux. There's that heavier downpour. Not a lot of lightning still. Most everyone is seeing some sort of moderate downpours now. Orange in Wilkinson County. A little bit of some greens too. Down in southern Lawrence County, Dodge County. Just a little bit of some lighter rain, which is some great news. We really don't need any more rain to be falling. Going into this rain event, so far this winter, we had the 10th driest December on record. So we were running about 2 inches below average for this winter season. With this system though, now we're about 2, maybe nearing 3 inches above an average winter season. January was rather wet. February's been pretty standard so far, but now with this in place, really is raising up some higher rainfall totals. A little bit of a lighter downpour pushing through Crawford County towards Fort Valley and Peach County. Fort Valley and Byron. Peach County has been hit with the most rain, really. A little bit of a heavier downpour near Warner Robins. Pushing over towards Twiggs County, as you can see a little bit of the reds. Indication that there's some higher amounts of rain. So expect the rain to be still in place for the next few hours here. With this just incredible rainfall totals that are really being done. So rain probably persisting until about 5, 6 o'clock tonight, 6, 7. And then after that moves out, we'll still have likely some localized flooding on the roads through tomorrow. But if you live near the rivers, they will still be increasing as that rain kind of collects in the Ocmulgee, the Oconee, the Flint River till about Wednesday or Thursday. So if you live near the rivers, really do watch that water because it will continue to rise over the next few days. It's going to take its time doing that. but really into Wednesday. I think Wednesday, early Thursday is when the rivers will be peaking. So watch those if you live near the river or one of the rivers. Otherwise, things should finally begin to be clearing out over the next few hours, but taking its time at doing so. I will have a full report with how this day has been done and what's looking forward over the next week on WGXA News at 5 on Fox 24 and at 6 and 11 p.m. tonight on ABC 16. But I will go ahead and end the stream for the rest of today. Download the WGXA Skywatch weather app once again. It'll keep you handy if there's any more warnings that are issued for flash flooding. Just take your time on the roads today, because the extra ponding on the roads really could cause a lot of hydroplaning. And you really just do want to be safe. Take it slow, remember, turn around, don't drown. If a roadway is flooded, it's really hard to tell how deep that water is, and plus the road could be kind of lost, and that the road could be washed away, and you really don't want to get stuck in that. That's not a safe situation for you to be in. So just be careful out on the roads today. Just a little bit of extra precaution with all this heavy rain that is falling. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you later.